I have no idea what that line means. I'll give you a reason to. I assume it means that guy is about to get a beat down. But okay,
they're just threatening each other, man.
Yeah, let's there's a story to tell in that song, and I'm just glad I'm not there to tell it. So I have some pretty trippy stuff going on right now. I'm talking to someone from the future, live in Perth, Australia. It is Wednesday morning over there, so I'm talking to someone from tomorrow. So this is like Mystery Theater 3000 type stuff up in here. It is, you might know her from YouTube as just the letter K and K the Female Screamer, and probably the only woman that I've been legitimately terrified of. And so how are you feeling this morning? Because it's 8 a.m. for you right now. So how do you feel?
Not bad, man. Thanks for having me on the show. Like, and especially after Woe Is Me, after a song like that, dude, like, what an honor to be.
Well, that was kind of I mean, I was kind of planning that because we don't really have that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, we have like a hard rock stuff, and it's like the rock that they have on here is just no. So I had to add like my own stuff to it. So the first question I really have for you is that not a lot of women around the world do this kind of stuff. If you talk to most girls now, they tell you that they want to be like the next Rihanna or the next Mariah Carey. I mean, this is a two-part question. One, why this? I mean, this isn't something that normally people do. And then when it comes to, like, do you feel that because you're a woman in this type of stuff that people don't take you as seriously?
That's like one of the biggest questions I get. Why am I even doing this? Because like you said, like, this isn't the industry for women, really. It's mostly like, it's driven by men, and I think the reason I scream is because I can't do anything else. Like, I'm not talented when it comes to like sports or academics or anything. Like, it's one of those typical stories where like I do this because I can't do anything else. And yeah, people tend to not take you as seriously until you prove yourself worthy of what you're doing, really. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it and trying to prove the boys wrong.
And you do a pretty good job of that. I mean, I tried to play sports when I was younger, but I couldn't do it because A, I'm skinny, and B, I'm white. So I decided to go with radio, which is something that I've had a lot of fun doing. So let's shift gears a little bit to like how exactly. Okay, you live in Australia. I mean, do you have? I mean, this is going to sound like so stereotypical, but I mean, if you had encounters with like kangaroos and dingoes and that kind of wild stuff, I mean, because it's there. Don't tell me they're not there.
I wake up, there's like a great white shark just coming through my window.
Oh yeah, like all the stuff that you see on Jaws. Yeah, people in Australia call that Wednesday. I mean, that stuff is regular
for us. No, man, that's like one of the stupid little stereotypes. Like, I'm from Oklahoma originally, and so I used to always get like, oh, you guys ride horses to school and you like shoot each other all the time. But no, it's like, it's not, we're that's civilized. Cool, we have like protection and
that's kind of funny. People thought that Iowa was like this giant cornfield, and it's like, wow, you guys have like cell phones? And I'm like, oh. Like, so it's like I remember, I'll never forget the one time we went to like this international, I can't remember where it was, but it was, we were in like Minnesota, and there's like this group of kids that got together for some kind of conference, and I wasn't there, but one of my best friends from high school told me about it, and it's like, I'm from Iowa, and I'm like, wow, do you have like phones and stuff? And I'm like, no, it's people thought that this was just this giant cornfield, and all we did was raise pigs and farm, which was it wasn't cool. And I'm glad I wasn't there, because I would have lost my mind. I mean, it was about to get real. Back to the thing is like, this is not the industry for women. I mean, like, you really can't get anywhere if you're a girl without like overtly sexualizing yourself. I mean, there are people that do it in a very subtle way, like Lizzie Hale, and then there are people that just go off the deep end. I mean, have you felt any of that? I mean, personally, saying that, you know, people will like you better if you looked like this or if you acted like this. I mean, is that something you've personally had to deal with?
Well, I guess a little bit, but I mean, like, you've got other vocalists on YouTube, like my good friend Lauren Babick. She does covers as well, and she's got a band, Red Handed Denial. And like, obviously, if you compare the two of us, she's obviously more feminine, and me being the more masculine kind of person, like, yeah, I fit more into the stereotype of like I'm trying to be like this cool, awesome, badass. Excuse my language.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean,
badass kind of like person, and it's hard to fit the mold of being really like confident in myself, but also trying to stay like towards the feminine side. So especially when it comes to writing music, you always hear the songs about like how the girls are like a specific way. I mean, like Memphis Mayfire does it perfectly in their song Jezebel. Like they talk about
I love that one. It's
that wants to get with the band, and like I can't write music like that because, well, I mean I could, but like it would be kind of weird if I was, because
the song's about you, isn't it?
Writing songs like that. Yeah, actually. Maddie called me up and he was like, "Yo, I just wrote a song about you." Here's
I was like, "Thanks." I was like, that didn't really happen, did it? I mean, no, of course not. But I mean, everybody kind of knows when you go to a concert who that certain group is. Yeah. I mean, there's, and of course, speaking of concerts, you actually did a song on stage with Motionless in White, which is okay. Yeah. How did that happen? I mean, was it just like, okay, you come up here? I mean, or was it something they planned ahead of time, or did they just pick you out of the crowd? I mean, how did that happen?
Honestly, like it was one of the craziest things, and like I was so blown away by what happened. But okay, so I was at Warped Tour. Of Mice and Men had just finished playing. I like accidentally walked into the mosh pit and got like launched across the crowd, so that sucked. But I looked at my watch and I was like, oh, Motionless in White is having a signing. I should go, whatever, get autographs or something, just because it's like one of the bands that influenced me. And so I went over to their signing tent. There was a massive line. Like, it was like hundreds of kids. But there were these two girls that knew who I was from YouTube, and they were like, "Kay, come stand by us." And they were like sixth in line. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to say no to that. So by the time I get
line cutting? Table, really? You resorted to line cutting?
Dude.
Yeah, that's how you do it right there. That's how you do it. Go big or go home.
Yeah, man. So I get up to the table, and Ghost is like the first one you see. Ghost plays bass for them. He's like the guy that everyone thinks looks like Sweeney Todd or any Johnny Depp character, really. He doesn't talk. He does not say a word. So he signed, I don't even know what I had. I think I got like a tank top from them. And so he signed it, and then Chris was standing next to him, and he was like, "Hey, you do covers on YouTube. You covered Abigail." And I was like, yeah. I was like, "How do you know who I am?" So then I started like assessing myself. I was like, "Oh my God, did I do okay? Like what?" And then he signs my shirt, and then everyone else signs my shirt, and he's like, "You're gonna come on stage with us and perform a song." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And obviously I was like, "Oh, this isn't actually gonna happen. He's just trying to like be nice." And then he was like, "At 3:45, meet me at the fence next to the stage." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So after I can't even remember who was playing. Like Every Time I Die, I think, was playing before them.
We actually have some of them in here. Might have to throw them in there.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. So I went over to the fence, and sure enough, he was there, and he walked over to the security guard, and he was like, "Let that girl through." And I was like, "Oh my God, is this seriously happening?"
Oh, if I tried to do that, they throw me out so fast.
But yeah, Warped Tour backstage is a crazy, crazy, awesome place. Like, just to be back there with some of the most iconic people in the industry, like Kellen Quinn, I met him. Memphis Mayfire recognized me straight away from YouTube, and they've seen me at different venues since then. And every time, like even on stage, Maddie will point down and be like, "Hi, Kay," like during his set, and I'm just like, "Whoa!"
Yes,
like, awesome. But yeah, like the coolest thing about Warped Tour is that seeing the behind the scenes part of it that not a lot of people get to see other than the videos on YouTube, but like in real life, it's such a crazy experience. Like bands like eat lunch with each other, like Jeffree Star and Anti-Flag are sitting next to each other, just like chilling. So it's crazy.
back to like the whole people recognizing you from YouTube, does that feel kind of awkward that you're walking around the streets like, wow, I saw you do this, and it's like, it's obviously it's not something that like it's not something you just like plan for. It more or less just happens. So how does it feel that when you're walking down the street or you're going to a show and they're like, hey, I know that person? It's like, how exactly does that feel?
Most of the time I'm just kind of confused because I'm like, how do people recognize me, and like why are there so many people? Because like even I'm auditioning for a band right now here in Perth, and the guy, funny enough, that asked me to be in the band, he knew who I was because of YouTube. And this is a really funny story. We go to school together, and the first time I saw him, I thought he was Dennis from Make Me Famous, and I've had some like bad experiences with this guy, with Dennis from Make Me Famous, just on YouTube, because that's how he started out. And so the first second I saw this guy, I kind of wanted to punch him in the face, so I just avoided him. Yeah,
that's not cool.
Don't worry, I didn't. But yeah, so one day I was walking home from school because I like lived around the corner, and he just walked straight up to me and he pointed at me and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I nodded. I was like, "Yes." And then straight away he just like hugged me and he was like, "You still smell like Chris." And then he was like, "Do you want to be in a band?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
Is it one of those moments just like, you smell like Chris, where you're just standing there like, I have no idea how to respond to this. It's like, do I just say yes? Do I say thank you? Or do I walk away? I mean, because there are certain situations where it's just like, I have no idea how to respond to that. And now that you're semi-famous, I mean, if we look at the tail of the tape in Twitter followers between you and me, I mean, you've got me by a wide margin. I mean, let's tally up the score here real quick. You currently have... Come on, you can do it. I know it's thunder, but you can still work.
Let's go, internet.
Yeah, I know it's raining like really hard outside. You have 2,272 followers. I have 49. So I have some work to do. So
give you a shout out.
It's like, that is a real follower. That's a real follower. For 40 more of those, and I'm in business. I mean,
yeah, man, you could get verified with that.
I mean, I could. It's like, now that you have a couple thousand Twitter followers and that the bigger people in that scene, the Maddie knows you, Kellen Quinn knows you. Is it something that you want? I mean, I think everybody wants to be successful. Nobody goes into something saying, "Oh God, I hope I tank." But are you surprised the way everything's gone the last 2.5, maybe 3 years you've been doing this?
Yeah, man. Honestly, like I've been doing YouTube since it existed, which is about 8 years ago, and just with the songs I've been covering and like some of the original stuff that I've started doing, and the opportunities that I've had to meet people, like I just covered a song by Bring Me the Horizon off of their new album, and I posted it on Twitter. Immediately, the keyboard player of Bring Me the Horizon sent me a tweet, and he was like, "Hey man, we saw your cover of Shadow Moses, and this is amazing. Thank you so much for supporting us." And I was like,
The keyboard player.
The keyboard player.
The keyboard player.
Yeah.
Probably the most useless member of the group. I mean, it's just like...
He's still part of it.
He's still part of it. I mean, it's like the backup quarterback. Yeah, he's on the team, but does anybody really know who he is? All right, we're gonna
probably not.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we come back. Kay and I, we're gonna dive a little bit into weird news, and let's see how long she can survive the lightning round. We have Memphis Mayfire, the victim, coming up here. The Electric Circus will be back in about 4 minutes.